Welcome to Innovation Dialogue. I'm Diana Ding. Today we're going to tell the story about the women leaders serving the Silicon Valley business community. So let's welcome our two guests here. And first is Anas, the new chairwoman and first chairwoman of Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, another one lady next to me is Herbia, and she's the new CEO and the first woman CEO in the 30 years of Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce history. So, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you both.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. You know, when we see our women's become the leader, especially in the business field, it's really not easy. So I believe that there are lots of stories to tell. But in this short time, we would like to invite you guys to share and give us an introduction about yourself. Yeah, Javier.
Well, I'm so glad to be here. And actually, I was a board member of the Chamber of Commerce from 2016, and I believe till 2021. And it was something that I had chosen to be a part of because I felt if we can equip people to be productive citizens and help our economic community and the economics of our society, then we can create a thriving community for everyone. So when I came to learn about this position, and friends of mine who are on the board now asked me to apply, it was something I never expected to do. However, now I'm here and it feels like it's the right place. I've always been about community development, hoping that I can give an opportunity for everybody to have better relationships, to be able to be successful in the community, and to be a part of the community. And I've been part of many NGOs that are in Santa Clara and the Silicon Valley. I was a cultural commissioner. I was the president of the Library Foundation. I've been a part of the Northside fundraising committee to bring that to our community. And I've just been serving as many years as I can remember. And now I get to do it by directly being able to execute. So I'm excited about that.
Right people at the right place at the right time. So actually, it's you found Herbia, right? But what brought you to the chamber?
Thank you. I actually found Javier. But so just give a little bit about kind of my history. Where I come from is a little bit different than Javier, actually a lot. So I was born and raised in Iran, and I come here as an immigrant kind of later in life. So when I initially started looking around and joined the chamber as a board member, I was just looking around to see whether or not it was a good fit. Something about the business, the commerce part of it really resonated with me, and so I kind of stayed on over the years. But I think it's important to also recognize that having stayed on the board, both myself and Javier, I think, going back to at least 7-8 years ago, we've been through several administrations, several different issues, and several different milestones. So we've kind of been through thick and thin, and we've come to really form this appreciation for what the chamber stands for. And when our former chair, John Elwood, actually saw me fit to actually be able to lead the board, I was thrilled just because I actually come to be the very first woman to ever be taking the chair seat of this chamber's, at least, board of directors. And that is a huge improvement in my business adventures, my own adventures as a lawyer, and just personally, the things and the people and the events and the theories and the ideas that you get exposed to at the chamber are very much different than everything else.
If I can add to that,
Yes.
one of the reasons I actually accepted applying was because I knew that Alnaz would be the upcoming chair. And it's really important to know that if you join a community or join an organization, join a company, that your leadership has to align with your values. And after a certain age and certain time of life, You don't want to put your time into things that you know are not going to be able to be flourishing because of differences in the way we approach problems, differences in our outlook about community, different values. But in this particular case, it was something very important to me to know that if I was to take this opportunity, then I would need to know who's at the helm with me. And when I knew that she was going to be there, you can ask her. I tried to get a hold of her to make sure we could talk and say, are we really on the same page? Because we really didn't know each other. We worked together. We fought many battles together to protect the community at large. But besides that, we really needed this time. And it was like, where have we been to each other's lives, you know? And I come from a technology background, and just like her being an immigrant, these are things that, as an immigrant, you realize the value of being there to support the dream that anybody in this country who works hard can be successful.
Yes, we always find the people in the community, and we join the community because of the people. You mentioned about because of honors, you applied this position. So what are the common value and common goal between you guys?
You want to go first?
Sure, I'll take a stab at it. I think common goals, just like Javier said, I think we both come from having to have fought our place in the society.
All of us.
All of us. And absolutely. And I think that when you are a female entrepreneur or a female I always say I'm from a third world country, and I'm so proud of it. I lived through many different experiences that.
Like what?
So I actually was born during the Iran-Iraq War. So for the first 8 years of my life was just bombarding and airstrikes and finding shelters. And then for the next probably 10 years before I was an adult, we went through a change in the regime. And so what I got from that experience was fear, anxiety, and suffocation. And so as an adult, I made it my mission to pick a lifestyle, to follow a path that will allow me to live free, and I can be of use to other people, but also I have the passion just because of where I come from. And I think that is a pretty common perspective and goal that Javier and I both bring, not just as being women, not just being from another country, just because we value what we've got. And we have gone here not by virtue of our last names or other people handing it to us, or just because we had connections at some club. We are here because we did everything right. We took all the right steps. We fought all the fights that we had to fight, and we proved ourselves. Just like yourself, I'm sure Javier would second that. There's no other way for us, at least for us immigrants, for us people who come from different walks of life and have to make a statement, have to make a presence. There's no other way but to knowing what you're about and what your skill sets are, and then you have the liberty of offering. And I think that's something that both of us very much share.
Yes, I totally agree. I think that, we come to this country and our dream coming true because we are the contributors. We see ourselves as the contributors and givers. Javier has been involved in many things, right? But your childhood was in
India as well.
India.
So that's where I think that we can share in some of these common values. When Ravinder called me, I was actually in Ukraine. And Ravinder called me and goes, I'm thinking...
Yeah, I saw you at the Cupertino Rotary Club, and so, Javier was busy with supporting Ukraine.
Yes. And so Ravinder called me, and I said, I don't know, Ravinder. And he said, look, I said, so who's coming into the chair? Who's the leadership team now? And I said, I'm not sure. He said, well, just think about it. I said, okay. And then when I came to Noah Zelnaz, and I knew some of the others that were working really hard to make this an effective and productive chamber, also just like yourself.
Yeah.
It was something that I was willing to take a shot at. And so when it comes to values, I would go on to the additional things that we both have found that were in common. We both believe in hard work. we both believe that you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. To give an opportunity and be welcoming to all. That, as she said, it's not just for the few, it's for anybody that believes that they have the right and the willingness. This is the place to be. Now that comes us to the next level. I think one of the elements that really we bring together as a unit is that we want to bring a change, and that's something we value. That it's time to become more relevant. We never get to where we are by ourselves. We cannot deny those that came before us because we stand on their shoulders to get to where we are now. The difference is we want to go to bigger and higher heights, if that makes sense, but not by merely just saying so. There is a little bit of an element that I will say towards the side of women is that women deliver. And I'm not saying men don't deliver. What I'm saying is that both of us are proof that we will take the fight, that we will stand up for our community, that we will do what is necessary to move us forward. And that's something that I think speaks very loudly.
Yeah, you know, Harbia, I know you for so many years. I know you're really a community-oriented person and you support many of the, you know, underprivileged people. But I know you're still associated with other organizations.
Yeah.
And how do you manage your time and how much effort and time you're going to put on our chamber?
I think that's a great idea. My goal is, which is also a value that we share, is collaboration. We don't need to try to achieve everything in a vacuum by ourselves. We're stronger when we work together, and there's so much more in common with organizations like Rotary, the Sister Cities International. By the way, as of last week, I'm now also the board member of Sister Cities International. I don't see those things as conflicting my time. I think those things are going to add value for us to be able to do more.
Is that because you don't have a family to take care of?
See, now that's good that you asked this question.
Yes.
Let's put that one
Yes.
on there. For the listeners watching this show,
Yes.
she doesn't mean that seriously. She's
Yes.
taking that. The reason she's saying this thing is because many people think that if you do not have the family or the children, that your time is just too open. Look, we choose what's important to us in our lives, and we choose where we want to spend our time. And it doesn't mean whether it's children, whether it's a job, whether you're a homemaker, whether you're whatever, but every individual chooses their time.
Yes.
And I
Choose the
my time.
lifestyle. Yes.
But I choose my time to make sure that I can do the things that give me a complete sense of satisfaction and that I know I'm adding value to the world. Some do it by raising children. Some do it by helping the underprivileged get the proper legal advice. And others help by participating in positions like this one, where we can create a better space for everyone. Somebody told me for my birthday, they used to tell me every birthday, I'm sorry, I know you wanted a ton of kids, but I finally realized the whole world's children are your children. So I
Wow.
think that says it all.
Wow,
That's
that's
very
really great. Yeah, I think that, you know, this is the freedom we have. The freedom that we can decide lifestyle and the life we choose, the things we choose to do. Yeah, we fight for so many years and then we are able to have this freedom. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Yeah, so talking about resources is really important and Chamber provides lots of resources.
Yes, but you know, like Habir was saying, we're trying to innovate the way we do business because things have changed since chamber ideas started, you know, rolling around, and so I think resources are what we are really going to focus on. There's other areas, and Habir can talk about those, but my passion definitely is to being that advocate, that support, you know, that resource that people can just pick up the phone and make a call to be able to just get a simple answer instead of having to make an appointment with a lawyer and to go down, you know, do this, sign an agreement. I might as well just go get a job.
I think that each one of us will contribute in our field. But Herbie, talking about chamber, what's your interest and what's your most passionate?
So I'm going to extend something that Alna said, which she's actually being too humble when she says, oh, I am not as well-rounded as Herbie. That's not true, actually. I wanted to really emphasize this because that is something that's missing in today's society, is people that fight for truth versus people who fight to win. And the truth has been removed so much from our lives that knowing what's real, what works, what's just, why are we here, that substantive stuff is what we want to bring back.
You notice the change of this country, these years especially.
And I was trying to allude to that, and thank you for bringing this up. And I think maybe if there's an opportunity, she may speak about it, but she is going to bring the, let's just say, the energy and that need to stand together to bring everybody forward. And that is something that matters a lot to me. Okay?
How do you bring everybody forward? How are you going to do that?
Well, first thing, when we try to make people succeed, we don't just think about ourselves. We have to look for win-wins for everyone. When we try to bring in a new member, we have to understand what their needs are. But then we also want members to help members, right? When she was talking about having to be able to pick up a phone, you need a community to be part of that, to do that too, right? I want to bring this new organization, for example, they're called, I think, Options for All, as an example. Options for All is an organization helping the disabled find jobs. See, that's an organization that is doing the work that our society as a whole should do, because then they can take care of themselves. When we think about sustainability, it is not only environment sustainability.
Yes, not only the so-called successful people, it's everybody.
It's everybody. And sustainability is that confidence and the ability to know that I can get up and take care of myself, and that I don't need to ask somebody for support. What I want to be very careful to say that there's nothing wrong with asking support. What I'm saying is that when there's ways to add support that enables somebody to be able to not feel that they are without the skills or don't have opportunities.
Maybe just don't have access to it.
Or don't
we
have
forget
access.
people cannot afford. They can't afford to get a business license and get set up and open their doors, maybe, bring a couple of people. But they cannot afford beyond that. They don't even know where to go.
Yeah, they don't even know.
In our
That's
kind
what
of
I found,
business,
yes.
It used to be, up until 5 years ago, half of our business would come from businesses that were in a lawsuit, and they were shocked. They never thought they were doing anything wrong, because no one ever told them, hey, look the other way, check on this, check on that. So, and just that's a great example of Options for All. So we've got, like I said, we've got entities and organizations that are there to serve different groups of society. We don't offer that to our small business. And we go along, we say small business is the backbone of our economy. But we're doing nothing for it. So we want to do something.
Yeah, so my question is, you understand the struggles of a small business, but we have so many high-tech companies, so many very successful big companies. And how can those big companies support and help our small companies?
That's a great question. So I think we also want to add this new perspective of looking at this. Look, this is not just about creating a thriving business community. It's creating a thriving Silicon Valley, which means the employees and the businesses that hire them. If both those sides can't come together, one cannot survive without the other, correct? And I think that's one of the elements that we are going to change as a chamber, that you must think beyond just this halfway mark, which is that you've helped just the word business and thinking about business without recognizing that you have to bring people to the table. You have to bring resources to the table, and people need to be able to survive. If we can't give them wages enough to survive, then they're not going to be able to stay in our area to work for our businesses. But then who's going to make sure our businesses can survive to be able to afford to pay for them?
You're talking about survive. That's a very good point. Our chamber also need to survive, because all these years, our chamber is struggling. We know that. So how can our chamber to be really become successful, not only survive.
So I'd like to just finish that thought exactly in what you're saying. We also want to start talking to our corporations because they also play an important role in our society. They give people jobs.
Collaboration.
There's a lot of collaboration that needs to happen. We want to sit with Intuits of the world, for about QuickBooks, we want to sit with NVIDIAs of the world, the Googles of the world, and say, look, you know that you have the resources to help society. Help them also be self-sustaining.
Yeah.
That's education. That is grants. If we can bring those to our small businesses, you're going to help them survive, and then you're going to also allow them to keep jobs for other employees.
Yeah, I think it's, a lot of being able to at least make those introductions or connections. None of the larger corporations, which we love to have in our area, but none of those are just standalone. They work with many different lines of business, some local, some not necessarily. So we'd like to make those introductions, those connections. We'd like our larger corporations to see themselves as an asset, as a resource, not just for the people that buy their products at the end of the day.
You know what? We tried that a long time ago. We are organizing Silicon Valley Entrepreneurs Festival.
I remember that very much.
You remember that? We try to approach to the big companies. They will ask that, what value you bring to us? That's the question.
That's what we're going to change their perspective and spin it around and say, how do you express your responsibility to the community that you are a part of? That's where I hope we send that message to them that it isn't about what we bring to you. The question is, how are you helping the community that you are successful in also be successful? So we have to help shift that thinking. It isn't just that we're here to serve them, but they have been given the power.
Those business, very normal business thinking, right? You always think, oh, what value you bring to us if we, support you.
You've heard
Yes.
of this, you've probably heard of this now. There's a lot of departments called CSRs.
What is
Corporate
CSRs?
Social
Oh,
responsibility.
yeah, yes,
right?
of course, yes.
And that is something that we need to help them understand. Doesn't only apply to programs for individual public members, but it also is needed to help businesses
Yes.
be successful, to be able to get the grants to afford new software, to be able to get the grants to bring in employees at a cost that they can afford, but that the employees should get a right rate for their community to survive in that
Yes.
society. We need to be the bridges to bring them together.
Yes, I think that we really need someone to go there and talk to them and build up this bridge, because they may want to help, but they don't know who to connect.
Yes, so in part of our planning for this fiscal year, part of our retreat was focused on, we really broke down our community, our audience, as I call them, and to see who we're serving and what is it that they're buying. And if they're buying, why is it that they're not buying from us? We're supposed to be their resource. So we've spent quite a bit of time trying to look, beyond the surface. And we've identified, like we talked about, collaboration for larger companies, resources for smaller, businesses. And we think there's a lot of opportunity to be fleshed out, to be used, to be introduced. And we're just not there yet.
Yes.
And so our hope is that, we can put in enough effort to be able to make that jump start and make things happen faster than we're used to.
Yeah, I would love to join the effort and make things happen faster. So what the other members can do to support this?
Well, firstly, we want people to be involved, not to just say we signed a paper to become a member. We want this to feel like a community. We want people to be able to come together and know that you can be from a large corporation, my background is in tech, and of course being an entrepreneur and community planner, there are people here who are in the medical industry. There are those that are NGOs. But that is a representation not only of our chamber, that's a representation of society. So when you join, you're not joining as a piece of paper and say, here you go, you got the certificate. No, we want you engaged. Give us your brain, give us your ideas. Not only just talk, we want you to be here and make sure you feel that you belong here as well.
Yes, that's right.
You have to contribute your ideas, your connections, not for our sake, but for the broader community. Because when you contribute and you feel like you have something to give, you have something to create, then everybody goes up together. Not just us, not just one person, everybody does. And that's what we want our community to, or of chamber members to feel like, that they belong to something. When they contribute, everybody gets the benefit.
Wow, that's
Members to help members.
wonderful. And I want you to give the people who are not our chamber's members and why they should join our chamber.
I think for everyone out there, joining the chamber, like Habir said, is way more than just the application. If you feel that you believe in a sense of community, if you have ever had that need for that community, and if you believe that you can take part in how your community, the community that we all live in, looks like tomorrow, I think that's a great incentive for people to get involved. You get involved because you want your opinion and your perspective and people that look like you and think like you to have representation. And if you don't do it, then we're going to have to make decisions like that just because we don't have the perspective. Everyone brings perspective.
Great, yes. And add one more reason you join the chamber and look at this great women leaders here at our Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce. And we're here for you and working together and waiting for you to join this big family and find the belongings. So we have to call it right now. And hope you guys will join our show next time and we can share more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank
And
you.
I hope everybody that's listening, please join us. We want to create a thriving Silicon Valley for all.
Yes.
Thank you.